Ladies, let's be honest. If there is no medical condition involved in the reason for your attitude towards sex, you know you have a switch. Well, this switch is a button you can just turn on or off, and when you want to, you can flip that switch with ease. But here is the real question: why? Like, why does that switch turn on so easily for the bad boys? The ones who don't even deserve your love, but suddenly go off when it comes to the loyal, committed husband. Now, another question is, why was intimacy effortless before marriage, but now it feels like a chore? I mean, why does that happen? One look and I breathe. Well, at the start of a relationship, passion is intense. The excitement is there. The desire is real. And intimacy feels natural. But as time passes, something shifts. The connection weakens. The passion fades. And before you know it, sex becomes rare, forced, or non existent. So, why does this happen? Let's break it down. Because sex isn't just an act, it's a reflection of how a woman views her relationship. And for many wives, sex becomes a tool rather than an expression of true connection. Now, let's talk about how sex becomes a tool. Sex is, for one, a tool for gratitude. This is so not good. Let's talk about something no one wants to talk about and no one wants to admit. Sex is something used as a thank you gift rather than an expression of love. Ever heard, ever heard a woman say things like, I should give him some tonight. I should give him some tonight. He's been so nice to me. And someone else will say he took me on the trip, so I guess.
Let me tell you why. Why you hear those words coming out of women's mouth. It's because that woman is not, into you like that. Like she was never attracted to you like that. Let me not use the word attraction. Let me use the word desire, right? You are not that guy because if you listen to this woman, in the beginning she said, "Why is it easy for women to turn on the switch for bad boys?" Because she said there's a switch that is on and off, right, for sex. Why does it always turn on for bad boys, irregardless? You understand what I'm saying? It's because you have to be desirable. You understand what I'm saying? Like you have to be desirable. Like you can marry a woman who's just attracted to you because you have something going on for yourself. You have the security, you're financially stable, you're a good man, you're a good husband. But when time goes by, you know, you become ugly. Remember, you get uglier by the day because she just chose you because you're compatible with her. You understand what I'm saying? She doesn't desire you. Women desire bad boys because of who they are. They're desirable. You understand what I'm saying? Every woman wants to be with the bad boy. Understand? Want to give it to a bad boy, not to a good husband. That's not for a good husband. Being a good husband, it doesn't get you laid. You understand? There's a lot of husbands out there who are not even enjoying the wives. They can't bring the best out of their wives, dogs. You know what I mean? Like the bad boys. They cannot do that. And it's crazy that it's like that. It's just female's nature, dog. You understand what I'm saying? It's not because, the woman is a bad person or whatever. That's just female's nature. You understand what I'm saying? You can ask any woman in this world, dog. Any woman in this world. You can ask them, what turns you on, like what arouses you. You know what I mean? They won't tell you, bro, because they don't know. You understand? They don't even know why they get turned on for by bad boys. Just like she said, she's like they don't know why that switch goes on when a bad boy is around. You understand? They don't know, bruh. You understand what I'm saying? It's a guy, you have to be desirable. I know that your dating coaches, they telling you, about looks maxing, looking good, going to the gym, getting the six pack, getting shredded and lean and stuff, and getting a nice suit, having fashion smelling good, getting your money up. That is going to get you through the door. Well, that will get you a wife. You understand what I'm saying? But it's not gonna get you a woman who desires you. That's crazy, dog. It's not gonna get you a woman who desires you. You understand? Because women don't know what arouses them. You understand? But they know that switch goes on when a bad boy is around. Let's keep it pushing, though.
I owe him a lot. When intimacy is transactional, it loses its meaning. Now imagine this. A man provides for his wife. He supports her. He listens to her. He loves her. And if in the beginning she shows gratitude through sex and it was all going fine, what happens when gratitude fades? If sex was never about genuine desire, once the thank you wears off, the connection crumbles. Sex should never be a reward system. If it is, it's only a matter of time before it stops completely. So, number two, sex as a tool for security. Some women use sex as a form of currency for security. If a man provides a home, pays the bills, and ensures stability, intimacy becomes an unspoken exchange. If she feels safe, she engages. If she doesn't, she withdraws. But here's the problem. When sex is a trade, real intimacy disappears. If a wife only connects when the need or when she needs something, is she truly in marriage or just using her marriage? Let's flip the script. Imagine if a husband only gives his wife attention when he wants sex. How would that feel? I know this happened that some men do that, but their worth in marriage is reduced to what they provide. This is why many good husbands feel unloved, unseen, and emotionally abandoned. Number three, sex is seen as a tool for comfort. Let's be honest once again. Every woman wants comfort, a stable home, and emotional security.
That's true. That is actually true. Look, man, this woman is on point. She's not lying, guys. She's not lying. She's telling the truth. You understand what I'm saying? She's telling the truth. And a lot of marriages, guys, they're like this, right? There's no sex. There's no sex. A lot of marriages, I can tell you, like 90% of the marriages, the husband is good, is providing, is paying the bills, but I can guarantee you that men are not getting sex. Because if you're not desirable, you're just not desirable. You understand? A woman can choose you because, you can provide security, finance, protection, and you have something going on for yourself. You understand? You have your shit together. Women will marry you for that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But knowing very well that, they don't look at you like that. They don't um find you attractive like that, desirable like that. And the only way a man can become desirable is just by having experience with women. And that's the truth. That's not a lie, dog. That's not a lie. Because you can ask any woman, bro. I'm telling you, they don't know what turns them on. Women don't know what turns them on. They know they can feel it. They know they can feel it by your presence. When you're in a room, they can feel that, this guy got me wet. You know what I mean? They know that. But they don't know what is it about this guy. You understand what I'm saying? This guy can be a player, a bad boy. It's more like they can smell the bodies on you, bro. They know that other girls find you desirable. other girls like you, other girls want to be with you, or you've been with other girls. It's like they can tell, bruh. Women look for experience in a guy. And most husbands, they go and get the money, they get the education, they get the physique, and you know, and yeah, and they get married, right? They get married to a woman who's not even. That's why you have so many divorces, bruh. Because women just end up being with men that they don't want to sleep with. And it's important for men to learn women, dog. You gotta know women's nature before you even get uh starting thinking about marriage. A lot of guys have like a body count of 5, dog, and you have a body count of 5 and you want to get married. And I'm not saying you can't get married with a body count of 5. You can. You can get married with a body count of 5, bro. You understand what I'm saying? But you gotta think about it, especially when it comes to modern dating and modern marriages and modern women. You understand? You gotta think about it, bro. You can't just have sleep with 5 girls or date 5 girls and then you want to walk into a marriage, dog. These women, dog, they're looking for experience, dog. Modern women are looking for experience. That's what they're looking for. You understand what I'm saying? And it is what it is. Let's keep it pushing.
A stress-free life. These are one of the things women want, but comfort requires effort from both persons, from both partners. A good man deserves to come home to a happy wife, and a happy wife deserves to have a husband who shows up, fully in the marriage. But if a wife only engages in intimacy when she feels completely comfortable, what happens when life gets hard? What happens? What if finances take a hit? What if stress builds up? What if there is conflict or there are conflicts in one way or another? Definitely conflicts will come up. So what happens then? If comfort is the only motivation for intimacy, the moment things get tough, the marriage suffers. True intimacy is about connection and not just convenience. So, number 4 is sex as a tool for having children. This is a hard truth, but it is a truth. Some women only desire sex for one purpose and one purpose only, to have children. They dream of a family, and they dream of a stable family to start with, a stable home and a future with kids. But once that goal is met and achieved, sex becomes
So it's funny how sex is overlooked because women don't like it. Women don't want to be seen as sex objects. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying women are sex objects, but sex is very important. Whether you overlook it or you underlook it, whether you want to sweep it under the rug, sex is important in a marriage. That's just a fact. You understand what I'm saying? Just like she said, bro, she's not wrong. Like intimacy, it's a way to reconnect. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is tied to your physical being, your emotions, your spiritual being, your mental being is tied to your physical being. It all starts from your physical being, dog. You understand? And intimacy can help to reconnect. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the truth. A lot of women don't like to talk about that, bro. They don't like the topic, right? This is why, you know, they only get turned on by, bad boys, the Chads, the Tyrones, the guys who can just turn them on, bro. Like, because they don't know. Like, here's how it works for women, right? You have to trigger the sex inside of women. And if you don't know how to do that, then you're cooked, bro. You're gonna be in a marriage, and she's not gonna, especially modern women, bro. She's not gonna put in the effort on how to, keep on giving you sex, even if she's off. You understand? Because once that switch is off, bro, it's off. It's off for good. You understand? Nobody can turn it on. You understand? Only her can turn it on. And once a bad boy is around, or a player, or a fuck boy, it will turn on. It will automatically turn on. because that's how she feels. She knows, bro. Women know how they feel. It's they don't know. I'm sorry, they don't know, but they can feel it. You understand what I'm saying? They can just feel that, I wanna eat that guy alive. I want that guy to drill me. You know what I'm saying? They know, bro. They know. You understand what I'm? They can feel it. You know what I mean? So that's just how it is, bro. It's crazy. Like it's crazy how female nature is such a like complicated nature, bro. It's complicated more than you think. You know what I mean? A lot of men just get into relationships with women, dog, and get married to them without even knowing them. And once they get married to these women, they're surprised that, they give these women ick. You know what I'm saying? They give these women the ick. Like they disgust these women. You understand what I'm saying? When time goes by, these women feel like sex is a chore. It's like a duty. You know what I mean? I have to give it to you every day. You know what I mean? They feel like that. Women start feeling like that. But when a woman desires you, she won't feel like that, bro. She won't feel like that. And the only way you're going to become desirable is through experience. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what your dating coach says. I don't care about nothing, bro. It's through experience. Women can smell the bodies on you. Women can smell, other girls on you. You understand? They know that other girls like you. You understand? They know that you are that guy. They can feel it, dog. You know what I mean? Let's keep it pushing.
Less frequent and stops completely. Why? Because the mission is complete. But when a husband becomes just a sperm donor, the relationship loses its emotional depth. Now, the relationship has to be actually deep. That is what marriage is all about. But if a wife gets busy with motherhood, the focus shifts to the children, the romantic connection fades. Soon, the husband feels like a stranger in his own home. Let's talk about sex as a tool for financial gains. Let's be real. Some women use sex to secure a wealthy lifestyle. It's, it's almost everywhere. They engage passionately when there is a luxurious trip on the table, when there's an expensive gift involved in almost everything they do, when there's a promise for financial stability. But here's the question: what happens when the money disappears? Crickets, right? What really does happen? If a marriage was built on transactional intimacy, then what happens when financial hardship comes? So does emotional detachment. They come hand in hand. Love should never be based on what a husband can buy. Intimacy should never be a business exchange. If sex is bargained like a contract, a marriage will never feel real. So then, let's talk about the dangerous cycle of scheduled sex. Here is where it gets worse. Some wives schedule sex just to keep the marriage going, just to keep the marriage running. It could be twice a month, just enough to avoid complaints. It could be just enough to maintain the illusion of a happy marriage. It could be just enough to keep the peace. But what happens when intimacy becomes an obligation rather than a connection?
Okay, so let's talk about the transaction between um the man's money and a woman's sexuality, right? These are like the Instagram models or whatever, the influencers. When they get married for a lifestyle. In exchange, they ride that thing. You understand what I'm saying? They riding on their thing, they sucking their thing, they doing that's what a transactional relationships looks like. You understand? It's these girls, dog, like these influencers, all these girls who get married to celebrities or millionaires. You know what I mean? These are the type of girls who are in a transactional relationships. You understand what I'm saying? Girls who are leading in this world, who have a voice in this world, bro. Who can tell girls that, if your man is not buying you a Birkin, you don't have to um give it up. You know what I mean? Like these are relationships that are dangerous, dog. You know what I mean? Like because like imagine, dog. Imagine um if you've ever slept with a prostitute. Let me put it like this: if you've ever slept with a prostitute, when you're done, bro, then let's say you feel like shit. A lot of guys who slept with prostitute, they can they can agree with me. You understand that you feel like shit, bro. You understand what I'm saying? If intimacy is transactional, that's how you feel, dog. That's just how you're gonna feel. You understand what I'm saying? You're not gonna I just because you're sleeping with an OF girl or an Instagram model, you understand what I'm saying, or an influencer, it doesn't mean that, when you're done, you're gonna feel like, I'm Superman, you're gonna feel good about yourself, you're gonna feel like I'm gonna start my day. No, 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 bro, because you know that is transactional. The fact that in your mind you know that this girl was not gonna be with you if you didn't have the money that you have, or if you didn't buy her a Birkin, or you didn't take her on a private island, you will feel like shit. And that's the truth, bruh. You understand what I'm saying? Sex is not nice when it's transactional, bruh. You're not gonna enjoy it. You might enjoy it in the moment, but when you're done, you feel like shit. You can ask anybody who slept with a prostitute before, bruh. You feel like shit, bro. You want to take a shower. You understand what I'm saying? Let's keep it pushing, though.
Resentment builds up. Desire disappears. Love starts to feel like a duty, not, not a joy. Good men struggle with this. This is why good men feel trapped. They try to understand. They try to they try to fix things. They try to be patient. But no matter how much effort they put in, the truth remains. If the woman mentally switches off, nothing, absolutely nothing turns her back on except herself. So, what's the solution? Ladies, own your happiness. Intimacy isn't about fulfilling a duty, it's about creating a connection that lasts. If you feel disconnected from your husband, ask yourself, is it really him, or is there something deeper at play? Has intimacy become a tool instead of an expression of love? A strong marriage starts with honest communication, emotional presence, and real connection, not just obligations. So do not expect your
What did I say? What did I say? Once it switches off, there's nobody who can turn it on. I've never watched this video before, by the way. But I know, bro. I know. Once it switches off, it's over. It's over, bro. You cannot turn it on. You understand what I'm saying? Until she turns it on, and she can only turn it on when there's a desirable guy around. You understand what I'm saying? Or in a presence. You know what I mean? That's just how it works, bro. What did I say?
wife to be like having this in her head saying, wife, it's your duty. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Create an opportunity for her. Create the environment for her to be able to make herself happy. It's in her to know what makes her happy. The moment your wife is able to figure it out, she spreads that goodness in the house. But women, you have to be conscious.
Yes, it's him. It's him. Because we society has taught us that, we should be good, we should be providers, we should be protectors, we should be good men and nice guys, we should be gentlemen and whatever. Society never taught us that, we should be desirable. They don't teach men those things, though. You understand? At least now, since we had YouTube, there's a lot of guys, who teach about looks maxing, about going to the gym and becoming attractive and how to approach a woman, how to talk to women. But I don't see a lot of guys teaching guys how to become desirable. You understand what I'm saying? This is how guys end up raising kids that they're not theirs, bro. It ends up there. You understand what I'm saying? Because someone will start sleeping with your wife because you don't know, bro. You have a body count of 5. You're married to a girl with a body count of 15. Like that doesn't make sense, bro. She's not gonna find you sexually attractive. She's gonna know. Like women are looking for experience in that area. They just want to know, and there's nothing you can do. Like you cannot fake that part, and that's the only part that you cannot fake, bro. You cannot fake it. You cannot fake being a player. You cannot fake being a pimp. You cannot fake being a bad boy, bro. You cannot fake those things. It has to be there. They have to feel it. Women have to see it, dog. They must just look at you and say, you know what? I want to eat that man alive. You understand what I'm saying? And you're gonna have a lot of babies with that woman, and you guys are gonna enjoy your sex life for the rest of your lives. You know what I mean? Because if you're not desirable, a woman is not gonna desire you. You understand what I'm saying? Some guy in university, bro, used to bring the best out of her, or some guy in her community, in her neighborhood, used to bring the best out of her, dog. And if you only to find out that this guy is a Chad or a Tyrone or a Pookie, only to find out, bro. You know what I mean? Was a bad boy. You know what I mean? So you need to understand that experience with women is very important because it builds desire in a guy. You understand within a guy. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, guys. Like I don't know. Like I don't blame the women at this point. I know that women I only blame them because they trying to use men. You understand what I'm saying? For survival. You know what I mean? They just choose a man based on how good they're doing. You know how good they're gonna be. You understand? Instead of being honest with these guys, because in the beginning, from the beginning, a woman will know that she can just look. A woman can just look at you and know that I'm just gonna give him a chance because he's got his shit together. He has something going on for himself. He has a good career. He has the money. He has the house, the car. I'm safe when I'm with him. I'm gonna get the protection, and I'm gonna get the security. And everything. And only to find out that when time goes by, she cannot pretend anymore. You understand what I'm saying? She cannot pretend laying on that bed, that guy breathing on her neck. Like she cannot pretend anymore, bro. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the only thing that women go wrong. You understand what I'm saying? And that's something that can change. I believe that's something that can change. They can learn, and yeah, it is what it is, bro. Let's keep it pushing.
Be ready to be happy because happiness is just like cooking, it's just like baking. The moment you are able to prepare a meal, you just want to share. You automatically would not want to eat it yourself. You want people to compliment you. So that is how it is. You just want to share. And the moment you share it, it lights up your entire house. So here are my final thoughts. Sex should never be a reward. Sex should never be a transaction. Sex should be an expression of love, desire, and true partnership. If we want strong marriages, we need real intimacy, not just physical, but emotional and spiritual too. I hope this has helped in one way or another, and I would like you to share some thoughts below, and we'll meet in the next one. Bye bye.
And by the way, sex will always be a tool, will always be a reward, and it will always be, transactional. Why? Because the society is raising men to become, um, what you call, to become good husbands. You understand? Just to become. There's nothing wrong with becoming a good husband, but to become only good husbands, good providers, good protectors. But they don't teach men how to become, a man desirable. Being liked by women. You understand what I'm saying? You have to be liked by other women for your woman to like you, bro. That's just a fact. You understand what I'm saying? Whether people want to hear this or not. You understand what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people, they end up in marriages and there's no sex because the woman never desired you. You understand what I'm saying? She didn't get turned on the minute she laid her eyes on you. You understand? When she laid her eyes on you, she wanted to know what you were about. She was curious to know like, okay, you look good, you talk, um you can talk that talk, you know what I mean, you have something going on for yourself, you know what I mean. She wanted to know those things, and as soon as she found out those things, she was like, you know what, I can settle with this guy. You understand what I'm saying? It was not like when she was younger, she met some bad boy in school, in university, dog. That guy blew her back. That guy blew her back, dog. Turned it on the minute she laid her eyes on him. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes, bruh. Like, sex will always be that if we don't teach men how to become desirable. How if we don't teach men to um learn about female nature. If we don't teach men to learn about female nature, men will never know, bro. They will never know if this woman is finds me desirable, wants to eat me alive or not. What men will never know that. You understand? They will fall for that trap. They will get into a marriage, and next thing is that woman cannot find happiness. And the other point that she made, dog, she said, happiness is like cooking. You want to share, you want people to compliment. That was powerful, bro. That was powerful. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how you find happiness, bro. This is where happiness is, dog. You understand what I'm saying? And we should allow women to find their happiness. You know what I mean? As men, you understand? We shouldn't look at women as, it's your duty to cook, to clean, or we shouldn't look at women like that, bro. But we should give them an opportunity to find what's make them happy. You know what I mean? And it is what it is.